In this lesson, we're going to be taking a look at two concepts in Spanish that differ pretty significantly in a few ways from English, so it's important to pay attention to them because they're concepts that you'll be seeing in virtually every sentence that you'll be working with in Spanish. Those two ideas are the ideas of gender and number. And in this lesson, we're going to be taking a look at how gender and number are the same as English and are different from English. Alright, first of all, let's talk about gender. Gender has to do with the idea of whether something or someone is masculine or feminine. Now in English, only people and animals have masculine or feminine forms. Okay? And we don't have, for example, books and tables are not masculine or feminine. In English, only people and animals we consider to be either masculine or feminine. We even have some words that we use, some special words that we use to distinguish whether we're talking about a male or a female. The words on the left, such as boy, man, brother, and father, we know when we use those we're talking about a male member of the species. The words on the right, girl, woman, sister, and mother, when we say those words we know we're talking about a female. However, in English a lot of words don't indicate the gender of a person. For example, the word friend. The word friend, it could be a male or a female. Teacher, child, and worker. When you say these words in English, you don't know whether we're talking about a male or a female. In Spanish, however, most words referring to people will have both a masculine form and a feminine form. So when you're seeing the word in Spanish, you'll be able to tell whether you're talking about, for example, a male friend or a female friend. And here's how you do that. Let's take a look at the word for boy in Spanish. The word for boy is el chico, the boy. El is our word for the, chico, boy. You want to say a boy, by the way, you say un chico. Chico is the word for boy. El chico, un chico. The boy, a boy. Right? For example, you could say Reggie es un chico muy bueno. If you'll take a look, the word chico ends in the letter O. Most nouns that end in O are masculine in Spanish. Most masculine nouns end in the letter O. For example, the word chico. If we're talking about a girl, we would say la chica. La chica. Notice how it's different. First of all, it ends in the A. Most feminine nouns end in the letter A. La chica. Notice we don't say el chica, by the way. The word for the when you're talking about someone or something that's feminine is going to be la. La chica. El chico, la chica. If you want to say a girl, una chica. Gloria es una chica muy buena. Chico, chica. Here we'll see a comparison again if we're talking about the word for friend in Spanish. Javier es el amigo de Sandra. El amigo. But we say Sandra es la amiga de Javier. So we see the word amigo has both a masculine form, el amigo, and a feminine form, la amiga. El and la both mean the. Use el in front of masculine, use la in front of feminine. El amigo, la amiga. Okay? However, a big difference in Spanish is not only people that have gender. Every single noun in Spanish is either going to be masculine or feminine. That means, grammatically speaking, books and tables and cars and pens and telephones, etc. All of those are either going to be masculine nouns or feminine nouns. That's something we don't see in English, but it's something you have to pay very careful attention to in Spanish. For example, we have the word computadora that we saw in the previous chapter, computadora. Notice the word computadora ends in the letter A, just like the word chica did. In Spanish, the word computadora is feminine. La computadora. Notice we say for the computer. We want to say a computer, una computadora. It ends in A. That's an indicator that it's probably feminine. Alright? Same thing with the word for telephone. El teléfono. El teléfono. What letter does teléfono end in? It ends in the letter O, just like the word chico did. Most masculine nouns will end in the letter O. El teléfono. You want to say a telephone? Un teléfono. So it works the same way as the word chico does, the word for boy. It ends in O, and it's an indicator that it's masculine. So the same rules that apply to chico will apply to telefono. You say el teléfono o un teléfono. So teléfono is masculine, computadora is feminine. How do you know? By what letter it ends in. That's a strong indicator of it. All right? But what if it doesn't end in O or A? Some nouns don't end in O or A. For example, we have two nouns highlighted here. We have el hockey es un deporte popular. Hockey is a popular sport. Hockey does not end in O, it doesn't end in A. But I said that every noun is masculine or feminine. How do we know whether hockey is masculine or feminine? Well, the way you tell is by looking at the word in front of it. There's plenty of clues. El hockey. We use el in front of masculine nouns or feminine nouns? We use el in front of masculine nouns. So el hockey is actually masculine. What about deporte? Deporte ends in an E. That's not an O or an A. Is it masculine or feminine? We'll take a look. It's un deporte. Do we use the word un in front of masculine nouns or feminine nouns? We use the word un in front of masculine nouns. So un deporte is a sport. It's masculine. So there are plenty of clues usually in the sentence to tell whether a noun is masculine or feminine. Okay? That's gender. When we talk about number, when I'm talking about number, I'm talking about whether something is singular and plural. Like English, nouns in Spanish have both singular and plural forms. For example, we have el chico, the boy. If we want to say the boys, we say los chicos. How do we make it plural? We added an S to it. If it ends in a vowel, you're going to add an S to make it plural. But notice how we say the boys. We don't say el chicos, we say los chicos. So there's different ways of saying the. We have el and la for the. When it's plural and masculine, we say los chicos. If we say some boys, unos chicos. Alright? Computadora we saw is feminine, la computadora. If we make it plural, we say las computadoras. Again, we add an S. The way you say some computers, unas computadoras. Unas computadoras. So, las is the plural way of saying the if it's feminine. So there's actually 4 ways of saying the in Spanish. El, la, los, and las, depending on whether what you're talking about is masculine or feminine, and singular or plural. This is a very important concept because you can't say el computadoras. It's wrong. It's las computadoras. Alright? Again, some other examples. El libro, if you make it plural, since it's masculine, it's los libros. Some books, unos libros. Hockey es un deporte. El fútbol es un deporte. If you talk about them both together, you would say los deportes. Again, you add an S to make it plural. Since deporte is masculine, you're not going to say las deportes, you're going to say los deportes. Alright? Now, the situation comes up. In this picture, you see there are boys, chicos, and you see there are girls, chicas. What do you do when you have both boys and girls? How do you refer to them as a group? Well, the way you do that is you use the masculine form. If there is a single masculine person or thing in the group, you make the whole thing masculine. So, you want to say boys and girls, you actually say in Spanish, los chicos. Los chicos. So does los chicos mean the boys, or does los chicos mean the kids? Well, it depends on context. You'll need some context to figure that out. Some kids, unos chicos. Same thing with Javier and Sandra. Javier y Sandra son amigos. They are friends. Sandra's a girl, but because Javier's a boy, you make friends masculine. Javier y Sandra son amigos. Alright, so to review. Gender refers to whether a noun is masculine or feminine. Most masculine nouns will end in the letter O, while most feminine nouns will end in the letter A. However, as we saw, a lot of nouns don't end in either O or A, and there's clues such as el or la to determine whether a noun is masculine or feminine to help you figure that out. Number refers to whether a noun is singular or plural. So gender and number are 2 huge concepts that we'll be working with a lot this year and as you continue on in Spanish. Now, there are 4 different ways to say the, depending on the gender and number of the noun. You use el with masculine singular nouns, la with feminine singular nouns, los for masculine plural nouns, and las for feminine plural nouns. So the in Spanish, there's 4 different ways to say it. In English, we just have the word the. But you have to pay attention whether something is masculine or feminine, singular or plural, to decide what form of the to put on there. And again, lastly, when there is a combination of masculine and feminine people, such as chicos, you have to use the masculine form.